Alright everyone, this is Marco Palmero, founder of Ulysses in Dubai, and in this video I want to discuss with you why you should consider buying a healthcare business in the United Arab Emirates. Now before we actually dive into this topic, let's just discuss why is it that I believe buying a business is a good choice. Well, fundamentally, buying a business is one of the fastest ways to grow a business. It doesn't matter if you're generating 7, 8, 9 figures a year or even more than that. The point is, internal growth alone can only take you so far. And acquisitions become a natural solution that many companies adopt after they reach a certain plateau in growth, because they fundamentally unlock all the doors that need to be unlocked. And fundamentally, companies that do make acquisitions can grow indefinitely because there are always players in the market that they can buy, always new competitors that they can acquire. And the acquisition of existing businesses not only enables companies to grow, but it also facilitates the process of acquiring market share, because they're fundamentally turning your competitor into cash and removing him from the market by making it, one of your subsidiaries. So acquisitions are one of the best ways to grow a company, and there are many videos on the topic that I recorded. Go check them out if you're interested in those. But in this video, I want to specifically address healthcare acquisitions in the United Arab Emirates. Now, as I'm sure you might know already, healthcare is one of the key sectors that we target with my company Ulysses, and also one of the sectors where we can support other companies at their very best. And the reason for that is because we have an extensive network and 150 years of combined experience doing business in this region within the healthcare sector. Now, why is it that companies should consider acquiring a healthcare business in the UAE? Well, fundamentally because the UAE are a gateway for Middle East markets. And a lot of people who don't realize that UAE are actually a stepping stone that enables them to tap into the entire Middle East market are gonna face huge challenges as they progress and as they try to enter the Middle East market. I've seen many cases of companies that wanted to enter Saudi, Oman, other countries, and they tried to do that directly without first establishing themselves in the UAE. And ultimately, all these stories ended up in tears, and it didn't really matter how big the company was, how reputable they were back in their home country. The question that always came up was, what have you done in this region? And when the answer to that question was nothing, then their credibility was reduced to zero. So UAE are a stepping stone that can help companies build that credibility simply because they are a much more friendly environment, and they can enable businesses to enter the Middle East market in a much easier way. So UAE are more welcoming when it comes to having people come and set up businesses or expand their current operations. And that is something that you can leverage to your advantage, because as you build your presence in the UAE, you also build credibility in the Middle East region, and people are going to look at you differently when you try to expand in other markets, like again, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Kuwait, you name it. So the first reason why people should consider buying a business in the UAE is because they're a gateway. They can really enable companies to tap into the entire Middle East market with a single acquisition. But I'm sure you might be wondering, why is it that I need to acquire a business? Can I just start something from scratch or build a partnership there? Well, yes, you can, but these options are going to be much I would say less favorable to you in the long term. And to some respect, if you are planning to start a business from scratch, you're going to face a very competitive market where you're going to need to establish your presence and conquer market share. step by step. And it doesn't really matter how many resources you have in your home country. You're still going to need to plug a lot of it into the UAE in order to ramp up operations here. And starting something from scratch can become very, very expensive, and it might not yield you the outcome that you were hoping for. Again, another example I've seen is many companies that were well established in their home country, maybe in Europe, South Africa, Asia, coming to the UAE and trying to start something from scratch and failing miserably at it. And I was wondering, why is that the case? Well, some of the reasons for that were, of course, that they didn't understand the market fully, but also they approached business in a very cookie cutter way. So they tried to replicate the model that was successful for them in their home country into the UAE, and that of course didn't work because this is a very particular region, a very complex region, and the UAE as a country are also quite difficult to navigate. And so starting a business from scratch not only requires you to have huge resources, but also tremendous capabilities and adaptability skills. And many companies don't have all of that, or at least they don't have the time to develop all these things before they start to see tangible results in the UAE and Middle East. And so all this introduction is to come to the point that acquisitions are the best possible way for any business to tap into the UAE and Middle East market. And the reason for that is, again, quite simple. You're fundamentally identifying companies that are already working and companies that do match your own goals and aspirations for the region. After you acquire these companies, then you start to establish your presence here. Of course, you can rebrand them as you wish, with a step-by-step process. But the point is, you are fundamentally skipping all the process of building something from scratch, and you're then diving immediately into the market with a pre-existing credibility, customer base, and systems that you can then leverage to build your own operations in the UAE and Middle East. There's also tremendous know-how that you can access from people that have been in the region for a long time. And by acquiring that talent and that knowledge, you can then, spread it across the entire organization as you progressively expand in this particular market. So acquisition enable you to skip the painful process of starting something from scratch, but it also enable you to get market share in a country that is very, very crowded from a healthcare perspective. What most people don't realize is that UAE are a place that is highly saturated. Yes, you can start a business from scratch and become successful, but you got to be a tremendous superstar to take away market share from people that have been here 10, 20, 30 years. And in most cases, it is a lot simpler for you to just buy something that already has market share, trust, and system in place, and then build on that and build your business from there. I'll tell you a story. It's actually quite interesting. We were engaged about 12 months ago with a hospital group looking to enter the UAE. They wanted to buy in or set up a new hospital. Initially, their goal was to find something that was brand new and just build from scratch. So the idea for them was, okay, we're going to find a building or a pre-built hospital that is empty. We're going to put in our own staff from our home country, and we're going to develop our business here. We're going to create a new branch of our hospital network in the UAE. As we progressed with the engagement, they realized that wasn't the best way for them to go about things. And they came to see the value of having staff and know-how that is already in place, especially in a country like the UAE, because they realized, one, that it would take them significant more time to do everything themselves, even if they were importing staff from their existing operations. But also they realized that they could access resources and know-how that they wouldn't have access in all other cases. And so the point I'm getting at here is that acquiring a business in the UAE for a healthcare organization is sort of like a shortcut to tap into the Middle East market. And that is one of the key reasons why all healthcare organizations of 7, 8, 9 figures should consider business acquisitions in this particular country. Now, of course, if you are a business leader, a private investor, a person that is considering healthcare investments and or healthcare acquisitions, you might be wondering, why is it that UAE is so good other than the reasons that I just listed? Well, truth to be said, the market in the region, in the UAE more specifically, is growing consistently from a healthcare perspective. We're talking about growth rates of 9% per year compounded in the UAE. And, this process is not slowing down. There's a huge demand for healthcare, for quality healthcare, and medical tourism is becoming a thing, year by year. A lot of people are flying to UAE to get access to quality healthcare, and they're flying from all over Middle East and also from Asia. And the reason for that is quite simple. Well, when it comes to the Middle East is because they can access premium healthcare in a place where a lot of people talk their language, although there's also English, but a lot of people do speak Arabic here. So there's the convenience of talking the same language. But for Asian cultures instead, there is this possibility of entering a country that is much more friendly to them compared to Europe or United States, where they used to go back in the day. And it is also much closer to them, right? So I can take a flight from India, from China, from Thailand, whatever, and fly to Dubai if I'm a wealthy person or a reasonably well-to-do person, and tap into a quality healthcare system. And back in the day, I used to go to Europe or United States, and it wasn't so easy to enter the country. So the UAE are benefiting from all these influxes, and healthcare is not going to slow down by any means. But I think, if there was one takeaway from this video on why people or companies should look at healthcare acquisitions in the UAE, it is exactly the fact that the market is established, it is growing, and it is a perfect gateway for the Middle East. So I wouldn't really look at the UAE as a standalone market, but I would look at it as a door that unlocks much bigger markets. So for example, if you are a person or an executive looking to go to Saudi, for example, going directly there with your business might not be the right choice. And many people will tell you otherwise, but those are, the ones that generally get you in trouble. And I don't get anything out of it for saying this. I just saw so many stories of big and small companies that ended up in huge troubles, and they had to withdraw from the Middle East simply because they didn't understand this key principle that UAE are actually a gateway for business in the region. So, in short, why you should consider buying a business or a healthcare business in the UAE? Well, because you're tapping into a accessibility point for Middle East. You are tapping into a market that is established, that is growing, and you're fundamentally putting your money in one of the best markets, on the planet. Many people have been successful here, but the ones who have been the most successful learn how to navigate this environment and how to get support on the ground from people who could help them understand the market and the nuances in this particular region. So by the way, if you have an interest in looking at opportunities in the region, our company is very experienced in doing that. You can check the link below and schedule a time for a strategy session with us. We will generally create a customized plan for you to see if there is a way we can help you accessing the UAE market from an acquisition standpoint or from many other levels. But the point is, if you're looking for guidance and expert support in entering this market, we are, a good bet. And you can look at our credentials and the credentials of my partners on our site. or on all the pages that we got online. The point is, buying a business, a healthcare business in the UAE is a very solid decision if you're looking to expand your business outside of your home country. They provide you with incredible accessibility, the very well known economic benefits like tax advantages and so forth, and then an opportunity to grow your business geometrically. So again, if you're considering buying a healthcare business in the UAE, check the link below, and I'll see you in the next one.